Belize is considered an upper middle income country. It doesn't always feel like it, but we are almost rich. We get held back by weak institutions and corrupt politicians. Despite that, or maybe because of it, we maintain an economic standing consistent with that of the rest of our region. Mexico, China, and minus a few exceptions, Central America and the Caribbean, broadly speaking, share upper middle income status. But what does that mean for us? How do these numbers translate to what kind of life you would lead? GDP and purchasing power parity only tell you how much wealth is available, but not who gets it or how it's used, or even if it will meaningfully improve your living situation. Millions of Americans hear that they live in the richest country on earth, while they struggle and experience a quality of life lower than that of the average Belizean. Even wealthy Americans making six figures or more in Manhattan can find themselves buried in bills and barely making rent. Money doesn't buy happiness, but you're twice as likely to take yourself off the census in wealthy US as you are in war-torn South Sudan. So let's take a look at our region, how the wealth of our nation compares, and what it means to live rich or poor in this episode of All About Belize. We'll start by comparing the life of your average Belizean with your average Guyanese. Similar life expectancy, low population density, and similar safety concerns. Most of the metrics you could look at won't show a stark difference between life in Guyana versus life in Belize. Yet, Guyana's GDP is double that of Belize. Guyana is a classic case of a resource-based economy, meaning the wealth coming from recent oil finds off the coast of the country has not improved the lives of most Guyanese citizens. To be fair to Guyana, they only recently discovered oil, and maybe over time, that wealth will come to benefit the people. But so far, things have remained mostly stagnant. Barbados is perhaps the only high-income country in the Caribbean where a high GDP actually translates to a higher quality of life for the majority of people. Bajans enjoy trusted institutions, elite levels of education, not just for the region but globally, and wealth that concentrates on tourism and finance rather than energy or agriculture. Belize is shockingly over 50 times larger than Barbados. Our smallest district, Corozal, is almost 4 times larger than the island. Yet, despite this massive gap in land and resources, Barbados remains much richer, akin more to Florida than the rest of the Caribbean. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is comparable in size to Barbados, yet functions as Belize's twin in terms of GDP and average quality of life. The difference in scale is still present, so living in Belize would present you with more options for economic growth. Greater disparities depending on where and how you choose to live. St. Vincent offers more safety, higher and more consistent quality education, and more security overall. GDP per capita might be similar, but average Belizeans will have a worse schooling experience while having a better chance to find a job or buy a house. Belize has immense potential when looking at our regional position. We're doing okay, and some of us are actually doing quite well. And that's with us living with weak institutions and working under a system that actively deprioritizes growth. Rich Belizeans can enjoy a modest life by global standards, similar to other small island nations. Except Belize is not a small island. Our borders touch nations with a combined population of over 150 million, and we dwarf in size much wealthier countries like Barbados, nations that got rich through education and good governance. Our Eastern Caribbean friends, who we share freedom of movement with, have successfully managed to implement some of these principles. If Belize did the same, even half as much, the impact it could have on our economy and the lives of all Belizeans might be enough to finally make us feel and be rich. Remember to give this video a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next one. Liata.